I have been chasing him for 15 years to be on our Board of Trustees. We got him on the Honors College Advisory Board, but we haven't got him on our Board of Trustees yet. I am sure at the close of his remarks tonight, he will say how happy he will be to join the Hofstra Board of Trustees. Sorry. I hate to put you on a spot, but it's important. Anyway, Scott is well known to all of us. He's a regional leader. Indeed, he's a national leader. He's known to us as a philanthropist, a developer who creates economic opportunity while reimagining, not repeating, but reimagining our landscape. As chairman and CEO of RXR, Scott oversees a multi-billion-dollar private real estate company, which was formed back in 2007. Since its formation, Scott has led RXR in becoming one of New York's tri-state area's leading real estate company. He actually has an astounding $9.3 billion worth of assets under management, which is comprised of 91 properties encompassing 20 million square feet. And that's big, 20 million. Above all else, I think what Scott really prides himself on, based on our conversations, is that he's not just a real estate developer, but he insists on trying to enhance the communities where RXR operates. So he serves on numerous boards, not yet Hofstra's, but numerous boards. So he is a member of the Honors College, the Hofstra Honors College Advisory Committee, the Real Estate Board of New York, the NYU, it's okay, he has a degree from the NYU Real Estate Institute Advisory Committee. Scott also serves as co-chair of the Board of Trustees for Friends Academy, which is a great private school out here, as you know. And he serves on the board of many other of the region's top cultural institutions, such as the Long Island Children's Museum and the Tribeca Film Institute. Scott has been very active in matters that are important to our region, and he has provided much needed and sage counsel on complicated issues of public policy. In June 2011, Scott was appointed by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to serve on the Board of Commissioners of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And now he serves as the Port Authority's vice chairperson. He also serves as the chairman of the Port Authority's Capital Planning Committee, where he oversees the port's $30 billion capital budget, including that for the World Trade Center development. And in May of 2013, Scott was appointed to represent the governor on the board of the National September 11th Memorial Museum and World Trade Center Foundation. Scott is also active in the real estate profession with the Real Estate Roundtable and as a member of the Political Action Committee of the Real Estate Roundtable. He's a graduate of Clark University, and he earned a Master of Science degree in real estate at the New York Institute NYU Shack Institute. Please join me tonight in welcoming our keynote speaker and honoree, whose leadership and generosity and counsel has helped countless Long Island and New York institutions, Scott Rechler.
Thank you, Stuart. With friends like you. You know, I think after reading all the different boards I'm on, you would understand why right now I can't join Hofstra's board. But I am an enormous fan of Hofstra, so I promise you, one day, I will join Hofstra's board. And I'm also a gigantic fan of Stuart Rabinowitz. As a long-term Long Islander, I know how much Stewart's leadership has meant to the entire region. Literally, from my office's window, I've watched Hofstra grow into a powerhouse that promotes education, economic development, and diversity far beyond its campus footprint. There never seems to be a project too bold for Stewart, including this institute here. Stewart, Long Island, and frankly our region would not be where they are today without you and your vision, so thank you for all that you do. I'd also like to thank Larry Levy, who organized this dinner and who worked tirelessly to ensure tonight's great success. Larry's extraordinary energy and passion has enabled him to build the National Center for Suburban Studies into an incredible institution for Hofstra, as Stewart noted, but also for the region and the country as a whole. I grew up reading Larry's columns in Newsday. I hope that doesn't make you feel too old, Larry. I apologize about that. And I now consider him a trusted friend and advisor on everything from politics to development projects. Larry, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you always being there for me personally and all that you do for Long Island. Thank you, my friend. And of course, I can't not thank my friend George Tunis for chairing tonight and helping make tonight such a great success, and George pushing me to make my remarks a little bit more personal, which I'm a little less comfortable with, so that I can share some additional insights tonight. So thank you, George, for all that you've done for Hofstra and for me. It's apropos that this event is occurring on Veterans Day because freedom, equality, and diversity are at the heart of our country's values, values that our servicemen and women have defended time and time again. I want to take a moment to thank all of those who have risked their lives and sacrificed to defend our country and these values, including Larry's son, David, who I believe is here tonight, right? Is David here tonight? So thank you all for all that you do for our country. Where is David? David, stand up. Oh, his brother's here. Okay. You lied to me, Larry. Okay, too old. There you go. So, and diversity has always been an important part of my life, going the way back to Hebrew school. I wasn't a very good student in Hebrew school, but then again, who is a good student in Hebrew school? But I did absorb a few important things. And one was that we are all created in God's image, which I always understood to mean that we are all equal in dignity and ultimate worth, no matter our color, culture, or creed. This is a lesson that was taught to me in so many other ways. When I was growing up in Port Washington, my classmates were from all walks of life, and my parents always maintained a diverse group of friends. As a result, I was lucky enough to grow up surrounded by people of different religions, races, socioeconomic backgrounds, and sexual preferences. Being around a diverse group of people has always been comforting to me. It has always been what's normal to me. The same was true for my wife, Debbie, who grew up in northern Arizona. There's Debbie over there. Stand up, honey. You're too short to be able to see you in that mix there. My father-in-law, who was a Jewish doctor born and raised in Philadelphia, chose to move his young family to faraway Flagstaff, an idea that did not go over too well with his mother-in-law at the time. At the time, Flagstaff was a diverse community largely made up of Native Americans and clearly no Philly cheesesteaks for my father-in-law or his father-in-law. When our children, Gabrielle and Elijah, were getting ready to start school, Debbie and I chose Friends Academy primarily because it is grounded in Quaker principles that include embracing diversity. As a matter of fact, the Quaker mission of Friends, which dates back to the 1600s, notes, and I quote, that diversity is an integral part of our lives, and excellence means valuing and appreciating inclusion. And the school has practiced what it preaches. As a result of a lot of hard work by so many people, some of which are here tonight, over the last 5 years, the school has increased its diversity from 16% of the student body to 34%, with a special focus on Black and Latino students. Friends Academy is a special place that does special things. Thanks to their own exposure to diversity, our kids, from a very young age, embrace the experience of being surrounded by people of different backgrounds. At age 8, our son Elijah joined Glencoe football. Soon afterwards, our lives were forever changed when a small, yet inarguably brilliant and talented young boy of color embraced our son and captured all of our hearts. 10 years ago, Tyrone joined our family in our home and had a successful career at Friends Academy. We are now the proud family of a Syracuse University D1 football player. Gabrielle, Elijah, and Tyrone made sure that our house became a magnet for children from all walks of life. These children not only felt comfortable in our home, but were also appreciated for the diverse perspectives that they brought to our lives. At times, our house felt as diverse as the UN, but without the squabbling, of course. Sometimes. It was an environment that we all cherished. As a matter of fact, when Elijah filled out his preference sheet for his freshman roommate at Cornell, his one request was that it had to be someone of color. Having Tyrone and all of these wonderful children in our lives have been a real blessing. All of us have learned the true enrichment that comes with being around people who are different from ourselves. But understanding different perspectives and cultures has more than personal value. It has also become critical to achieving success in today's globally integrated world. I saw this just last week when I spent several days traveling to cities in China, meeting with potential investors for RXR. I had the opportunity to hear what a wide range of Chinese investors, government officials, and business people thought about our area. At a time when so many in the United States believe our country is in decline, the Chinese people I spoke with were excited about our region. They saw in New York a city of promise and opportunity, a city that is welcoming to all, no matter where you are from. Frankly, like so many other people from around the world, many of them would love the opportunity to actually live, work, or come visit our great city of New York. And a host of statistics validate their assessment of New York. Population at an all-time high, employment at an all-time high, visitorship at an all-time high. So why is New York doing so well? And by the way, why am I telling you this at a dinner celebrating suburban diversity? Let me try to get to that. It's my opinion that the biggest reason why the city is thriving is the incredible diversity of its population. There is no other city in the world where diversity is so embedded in its DNA. And that's the magic of New York. Today, 37% of New York City residents were born in another country, reaching a new record. To put this in context, the city of New York now has a foreign-born population that is larger than the entire population of Chicago. This diversity creates a richer quality of life, and that attracts more people from around the world, which in turn makes New York even more attractive. It's a virtuous cycle of prosperity. In such a globally integrated environment, the world is smaller than ever, and your customer, partner, or friend can just as easily be from around the globe as from around the corner. Thus, connections to and understanding of different cultures, preferences, and markets are increasingly a key to success. New York City also benefits from economic diversity. New York is a global magnet for the well-educated, the creative, the entrepreneurial, and not just in one industry, but across a range of industries, from finance to fashion, from media to healthcare. If businesses want to find the best and brightest, the most innovative, the odds are they will find them in New York. New York is a city where people from all walks of life come to make their dreams a reality. But the flip side of all of this success is that today, New York is being overwhelmed by the many people who want to be here. All this demand has resulted in a shortage of reasonably priced housing in which people can live and reasonably priced places in which businesses can operate. Costs across New York continue to soar, and that's not sustainable, not for our people, not for our economy. Well, this is where our increasingly diverse and underappreciated suburbs enter this story. Thanks for sticking through the rest of that part of the story. Once again, they have the potential to provide a critical relief valve for all of this demand-driven pressure in the city, a kind of back to the future moment for the region. After all, for much of the post-World War II era, the story of the New York region was a story of a thriving periphery and a rotting core, as the city bled jobs and population, and the suburbs expanded and prospered. However, by the turn of the millennium, the story reversed itself. In fact, between 1996 and 2014, employment in New York City grew at twice the rate as the suburbs. Twice the rate as the suburbs. But why? What changed? Part of it is that for many people, the traditional suburban model simply lost its luster. Increasingly today, people, especially young people, are not interested in the cookie-cutter, car-dependent suburbia of the past. Increasingly today, people want to live, work, and play in places that are not antiseptic, but have character, texture, and history. And increasingly, people want to live, work, and play in places that are more diverse. This has created a mismatch between what people in our suburbs want and what they're able to find. But there's good news for the suburbs. We have communities that are not only have the diversity that people crave, but are also walkable and have genuine character and are easily accessible to New York City via public transit. These are the suburban downtowns that historically were the hearts of our towns and villages. Unfortunately, over time, many of these downtowns have fallen on hard times, with people moving out of their residential buildings, shoppers fleeing to malls, workers fleeing to office parks, and buildings being torn down to make way for commuter parking. Today, though, these areas provide us with a golden opportunity, for they have all the ingredients that the modern workforce is looking for. Instead of insidious white flight, now we can create what you might call right flight, or the revival of areas where people of different backgrounds can come together to build new, successful communities. And it couldn't come at a more critical time, especially for hard-placed areas that have suffered from disinvestment. To allow these suburban centers to reach their potential, we need to re-energize them. We need to invest in their aging infrastructure. We need to create new housing and amenities that meet the demands of the 20th century workforce. We need to ensure that they are safe. We need to make sure that their public education systems function again. And most of all, we need to bring back economic opportunity to them. And we must do all of this in a way that doesn't gentrify or homogenize these places, but instead nurtures and builds on their wonderful diversity. At RXR, we're working closely with local communities and governments and government groups in downtowns throughout our region to do just this. From Stamford in Connecticut to New Rochelle and Yonkers in Westchester to Glen Cove, Huntington Station, and Hempstead here on Long Island. We're hoping to help them reimagine their downtowns in a way that enhances the quality of life for those now living there, and to position these places as attractive alternatives to an increasingly expensive New York City. And at the same time, make these areas so special, embracing what makes these areas so special, their diverse cultures and character. Diversity not only makes for richer communities, both socially and economically, but is also good for business because it attracts the workforce that companies know they need to succeed. To put it simply, we believe if we build it, they will come. In the process, helping both to revitalize our historic downtowns and to create broader economic vitality and cultural vibrancy that will re-energize suburbia for the 21st century. Before concluding, let me reflect on one other thing I learned when nobody thought I was paying attention at Hebrew school. Namely, the concept of tikkun olam. That's the responsibility of each and every one of us to literally repair the world, to do our part to make our world, to make our communities better places. Today, we have a unique opportunity to capitalize on our regional momentum to repair our challenged suburban downtowns that have been broken for too long. Today, we have an opportunity to reverse the vicious cycle of decline that has depressed neighborhoods and destroyed dreams. Today, we have an opportunity to rekindle hope by creating educational and career paths that have been denied to generations. Today, we have an obligation to grab these opportunities and make them a reality. In my own life, it has given me enormous happiness to see all of my kids, not just Gabrielle and Elijah, but Tyrone too, flourish in a supportive home, in a safe neighborhood, and in a superb school. But in a place as affluent as Long Island, I think every child should enjoy the same sense of security in their own neighborhoods. Every child should have access to the best teachers and technology. Every child should be able to dream and have a fair chance to realize those dreams. It won't be easy, but today, at this particular moment in our history, we have a chance to change the arc of our story, to repair our world, one suburban downtown at a time. We can't afford to waste this chance. After all, isn't that why we're all here tonight? Thank you very much, and thank you for this great honor.